Hello all. Tonight we will be discussing 5 linguistic components and how they impact literacy development in our young learners, as well as how we can support our students with exceptionalities and struggling students. The 5 linguistic components we'll be discussing are phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. Phonology is the ability to differentiate and create the sounds of language. When we look at phonology, we focus on the individual sounds or phoneme. For example, when we break down the word ship, we notice that there are 3 sounds present, or 3 phonemes: sh, I, p. Phonological awareness is foundational for learning to read and spell. Children must understand that words are made up of individual sounds to read and write words accurately. Morphology refers to the use of words and their parts or morphemes. Some examples are prefixes, suffixes, and changing the tense of a word, such as ed or ing. Understanding morphology helps students decode unfamiliar words, comprehend familiar words, and improve spelling. Knowledge of roots and prefixes and suffixes support word recognition and reading fluency. Syntax. Syntax refers to the order of words and the formation of words. The basic structure would follow subject, verb, object in order to be considered correct or grammatical. However, there's also changing word placement that can completely shift the interpretation of a sentence. For example, the dog chased the cat versus the cat chased the dog. This sentence is grammatically correct, but both have different meanings due to syntax. Students must understand sentence structure to comprehend what they read and to effectively write. As they develop syntactic knowledge, they learn how sentence complexity affects meaning and clarity in both reading and writing. Semantics. Semantics refer to how one word or phrase can have different meanings. Semantics can be homophones, where words sound the same but hold different meanings. For example, son, someone's child, or sun, the gassy star in our solar system. Semantics can refer to polysemy, which a word that can have multiple meanings. For example, the word bank can mean the side of a river or a financial institution, depending on the context. A strong understanding of semantics is crucial for reading comprehension. Students must interpret the meaning of words and sentences in context and build a robust vocabulary to understand and express complex ideas. Lastly, pragmatics. Pragmatics is the social or transactional use of language, including context of the conversation. An example of pragmatics would be considering the statement, "Can you pass the pepper?" We aren't looking at if the person has the true ability to pass the pepper, but rather making a polite request for assistance. Pragmatic awareness supports reading comprehension, especially of dialogue and character interaction, and effective communication. It helps students understand tone, sarcasm, implied meanings, and social cues within text. Understanding the components of linguistics, such as phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics, is essential for effectively supporting students with exceptionalities. Each of these components plays a critical role in language and literacy development. For example, students with dyslexia or speech language impairments often struggle with phonological awareness, making it difficult for them to decode words. Targeted activities such as segmenting and blending sounds can support these students. Morphological knowledge helps students understand how words are formed, which is especially useful for those with learning disabilities who may benefit from learning prefixes, suffixes, and root words to decode unfamiliar vocabulary. Syntax is also important as students with language impairments or autism may struggle with understanding and producing grammatically correct sentences. Teaching sentence structure explicitly can support both reading comprehension and written expression. Semantics, or the understanding of word meaning and context, is vital for students with limited vocabulary or comprehension challenges. and instruction that includes multiple meanings and contextual usage can greatly aid their understanding. Lastly, pragmatics involves the social use of language, which can be particularly challenging for students with autism or social communication disorders. Teaching conversational skills and appropriate language use for different contexts help these students succeed both socially and academically. Overall, a solid understanding of these linguistic components enables educators to identify specific language challenges and implement targeted inclusive strategies that help all students, especially those with exceptionalities, thrive in the classroom. Two developmentally appropriate research-based instructional strategies to support the language and literacy development of early childhood students who struggle with linguistic components are Elkonin sound boxes. This activity can support students with struggling with phonology. Students will use pictures to represent the words and objects or shapes to represent the sounds within those words, and will need to place a token or write a letter in each box as they say each sound. For example, the word bus. The student would place 3 tokens in 3 boxes representing b, a, s. This activities this activity allows the student to build phonological awareness by linking sounds to letters and helps students internalize how sounds map to print, which supports both reading and spelling. Lastly, word sorting. This activity can support students struggling with morphology. Students will use cards with root words and affixes to sort or combine into new words. Students can group words by shared morphemes or create new words by adding prefixes or suffixes. Students can sort the cards into categories such as words ending in ed or ing. This hands-on activity helps students recognize patterns in words, reinforcing how morphemes function in different contexts. It supports reading fluency and vocabulary development. Thank you all so much. Have a great night.